So with this baby, what I will try to do, I will try to transfer it onto the canvas pad, page from the canvas pad. I'm using this guy. I have a couple of them, and so what I will use, I will try to use this 3M high strength adhesive. I believe this one gives like a spidery web coverage, and this way I could only spray one part, and I will be spraying canvas, and then I will attach canvas to the skin, and then I will kind of like roll it with a dough roller, and let's see how, if I will be able to get rid of this texture. It has this imprinted from the mat, it has this grid kind of texture which I don't like. I mean, it's unacceptable, I can't use it, but I'm hoping that I will be able to get rid of that. So let's see. Okay, so I sprayed primed part of the canvas, primed side of the canvas with a spray glue, and it has this like spider web pattern, and now I will try to imprint it onto the skin. My nose is running. I don't know if it's the chemicals or if it's the pollen outside. And I have this mat that gives me a little bit of the softer surface, so I do get imprints nicer, and I covered it with a layer of freezer paper just to protect it from the glue. And now I will try to kind of like center it in the middle, and then do something like this. And now I'm using my dough roller, my favorite tool for cooking art, and I'll try to roll it, applying as much pressure as I can to make sure that I get rid of all of the potential bubbles that I tried trapped under the skin and again in between the skin and canvas. And I am keeping my fingers crossed that that grit texture from the mat will disappear. Let's see. Okay, so it did transfer super nice. I do see imprints of the canvas, which is perfect, but I still see the grit from the mat, so that's a very bad news for me. What should I do? I'll use a little bit more of the freezer paper just to protect the skin, and I will try to leave it to roll on this side. Next step, I will spray it with a varnish, so let's see if it will help to get rid of those marks. I can still see them clearly, so let me spray paint it with golden varnish. Let's see how that will look. Okay, so first coat of golden varnish, it brought all of the colors. I mean, they were bright to begin with, but it looks, I mean, first of all, it's protected. I still see the pattern. It's better now. It's, I mean, the crisscross pattern, I can still see it, so I will try to give it 2 more coats, and I will blow dry it using medium heat on high speed, and hopefully it will get rid of those indentations, because that's a bummer, because I really like these mats. So my goal for that specific skin, or the ones that I'm planning on making, is to create this kind of idea when I transfer the skin onto the canvas, and then I apply this kind of like whimsical design that I create on my iPad using lines. I use liquify tools, so they come out looking incredibly beautiful. And I feel like I will be using white. I got 2 rolls from Amazon. It's Cricut Premium Vinyl. So I will set up my mat to cut white design. I will use the same one just for the test purpose, and I will be setting the mat up. So I have to get take out the plastic. And these mats, eventually they lose their grip, and I don't know how to restore them. I mean, I don't want to be buying them every time. They are not sticky enough. And I have to, I think I have to place it like that. See it there? Oh my god, this is so slippery and it's so hard to maneuver. Let's see if I could use it like this. And maybe I should cut it so this roll doesn't get in the way. Okay, so I'm in between either using black vinyl, which will give me this kind of effect, or white one. I feel like I want to do white because it has a lot of white background, and I will need like this much, so 18 inches. I have to cut it. 18. I got this roll on Amazon, which is much better price than when I was buying smaller pieces in Michael's art supply store. So this. I have to make sure that it is adhered nicely and firmly to the board. And now, oh, by the way, so I gave a second coat of gloss varnish. It is better, much better, but I still see the grid. So while it's drying, I will set up my Cricut to cut out the design, and then I will give another layer of varnish, and hopefully that will solve the problem. So let's do that. So while my skin is transferring and drying, I will try to cut out this design in vinyl using my Cricut. So I am in Cricut Design Space. I scaled it to be 18 inches long, and it's about 11 inches wide, so that's good. I will click make it. Large is okay. So it's setting it up on the mat. Continue. It will choose an accessory. This is my Cricut. Click continue. And while it's loading, I usually, before I'm cutting, I am cleaning up my blade, which I can use just like ball of foil. And it kind of like, I don't think it sharpens it, but it definitely cleans all of the glue that was stuck to the blade. So now it's good. Load it into the machine. I have my settings set on vinyl. So now I'm ready to cut. When this is blinking, then I'm ready to load my mat and hope for the best. I chose more simple design because it's a test pour, so I will see how it looks. And let the machine do the work. Okay, now press cut. And I will show you some of the things that I already did. I think they look really cool. And I may have found solution to the issue of the indentation. So this I used to transfer the larger scale, and now I'm using this Cricut roller, which has a rubbery roll, and basically I'm just rolling it and it imprints into the canvas super nicely. Now I have 2 layers of varnish which protects the color, and now I can see all of the texture of the canvas instead of the texture of the silicone mat showing through. I'll give it a few rolls like in different directions, but yeah, I think this is perfect. Now I don't see any of the issues of the indentations of the grid. Maybe, but they're barely noticeable. I mean, I will cover it with another layer of vinyl art, and it will be perfect. Alright, so let me go back to the cut. So these are the samples I have done so far using the test skins that I have a huge library of. And I use this cardstock. I use my Cricut machine to cut out the circle. I used a little bit of the artist tape, archival, to attach them to the back, and I did a bunch of them, and I think they look very beautiful, pretty. The colors are vibrant, the designs are perfect. I used my own formula, so it has a lot of like metallics, iridescence. The surface is smooth. I mean, here some bumps here and there, but people like brush strokes from what I heard. So let me show you some of them. The backing. There is this baby. This was my favorite pour. It has silver right under the cell activator, and it kind of like spreads out, and there is feathering between the colors. My friend is calling. Alright, so to continue, here I did a boo-boo. I was trying to find a nice composition to place the overlay, the vinyl overlay, and then I didn't realize that I had this edge cutting through, but it's okay, it's one of the samples. This one is super cool. I was not crazy about this white blob of the cell activator, which was probably too old or too thick, but it looks super nice. Colors are bright and vibrant. And this is another one with black cell activator over silver color, and I used silver vinyl to cut out the wavy lines. I mean, they're all beautiful. I love them all. This one has a combination of teal, turquoise, bronze, cerulean blue, I think, lemon yellow, neon yellow. This one is also very pretty. They get stuck to each other, but they are all protected with golden varnish, which is one of the best products I used. So this one, it has beautiful ultramarine, primary reds, yellows, and all of the shades in between. And it's funny how when yellow gets in contact with black, it creates green, which is super interesting. And this was this is actually different. Here I used stencil instead of the vinyl, and I did use the spray paint. I mean, it still looks okay, but there is a little bit of the smudging that I don't like, so I'm trying to avoid that. So these are little samples that I made. I will try to post them on Etsy. Maybe somebody will buy them, who knows. And now I will try to finalize this test pour. Somebody's calling. So this is the skin transferred on canvas. It looks beautiful. It has the same beautiful sheen. All the colors are bright and vibrant. This is from yesterday test pour in the middle of like 3 a.m. in the morning. And here is the design that is already cut onto the vinyl. So the next step, I will have to use this little weeding tool and basically like take out all of the negative space from the skin. I mean, from the vinyl, and then I will transfer it with transfer tape and place it onto the skin. So that's the next project. And now this process with vinyl, it's still a new process for me because I just got, actually a very good friend of mine ordered vinyl from Amazon, and basically I am using my Cricut machine to cut out the design that I made using my iPad. And now what I have to do is basically get rid of all of the negative space. It's called weeding, and I wish the backing paper was a different color than the vinyl, because it would be much easier for me to see what I have to weed out. Now I have to kind of like lean against the light source and see what thing I have to pull out. So, I mean, it's kind of like, it's like popping the bubbles on bubble wrap. It's gives you this like pleasant feeling. I don't know, maybe it's just me. It's a little bit hard to catch the edges, but again, I'm new to this process, so I will eventually perfect it. But now I am trying to weed out all of the things that I don't want in my artwork. And there are a lot of little things that I have to take out, like tiny little things. So this is the process. This will keep me busy for some time, because I really need to get rid of all of these negative space items. So this is the next step. So I spent some time trying to weed out all of the negative space. I hope I got all of them out, because it's so hard to see white on white. But if I bend it the right way, you can see that there is this beautiful design that is still on the backing paper. And now what I have to do in order to transfer it onto this baby, I have to use transfer tape. And again, a very good friend of mine, one of the best ones, ordered this for me on Amazon. You can get it at local Michael's, but it's more expensive. And I think I will cut it to the size, just so this roll doesn't get on the way. Now I basically have to, I have to peel off the sticky side. So this plastic has sticky backing, and I have to remove this backing paper somehow. It's always hard to start. Okay, so here it is. And now I have to transfer this design onto this backing paper. And I think the best, from what I've seen on the Facebook, the best way to do it is kind of like peel off part of it, fold it, crease it, and then it will allow you to lay the page where it's supposed to go. And now it's so sticky. So after I align it to the page on the bottom, now I can start maybe in the center, and I don't know. It's tricky with all the sticky surfaces. Okay, so yes. So now this part is adhered, and now I will be pulling this little lip. I will be pulling it away and kind of like making sure that I'm getting rid of the bubbles, and I get nice adhesion of the transfer tape to the vinyl that is under. Okay, and this I will keep, because I will remove this plastic and I will store it back with this backing tape, and I can use it as long as it has some stick. It has like sticky surface. And now I just have to work with this tool that also comes from Cricut. I melted it while I was doing some crazy projects, so it's not even anymore, but it still does the job. So I'm trying to make sure that all of the design that I have cut out on the vinyl is adhered to the transfer tape. Hopefully it is. I don't know if I should use this little ruler. Why not? Cricut is amazing. The quality of the items that they produce is pretty amazing. They have such a great support staff, a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of projects that you can use for free, or you can like pay a small fee and just like go around with your creativity. And now I have to make sure that I peel off the transfer tape and my design sticks to it. So and it's not sticking. So alright, so I'm starting with this edge, and looks like it is transferring onto the backing. Okay, so this is the tricky part. This is the tricky part. Here I have to be very careful because this part of design, it's kind of like it's not working. Maybe I should start from this side. I will put this paper so it doesn't stick back to the mat, and I will start from this side. Okay, it did work. It did work this time. Now I can peel off this paper. Okay, perfect. It worked. So now I have this design, and the next step will be taking my skin that is already transferred onto the canvas and applying this baby on top, and I think it's gonna look so freaking gorgeous. I can see it already, and then I can do the frame and it will be ready to be displayed on some wall too. So now I have to transfer this design onto the skin that was transferred onto the canvas. And by the way, my concern about the skin having the crack in the back, it doesn't look bad because the pigmentation is not like the paint is not ripped apart. I see a little bit of the dent, but it actually looks like it's actual painting. You know, it's not a print or, you know, something that you can do on Casca and mass produce. It's one of a kind. And now I will try to position it the way I like, composition wise. And I will start from the center and I will slowly place it. And then I will try to press it against the skin as good as I can, starting from the center out to get rid of any potential bubbles. Okay, and now I have to peel off the transfer tape, and I have to do it very carefully not to destroy the design. Oh wow, the skin sticks to it quite firmly. Hopefully it doesn't rip from the canvas. And then basically gradually and slowly peeling the transfer tape. It actually does peel off from the canvas, but I will give it another go with a roller to adhere it, and I will let it dry under the weight for a couple of days maybe. Yeah, I see how it's ripping. This transfer tape has a very strong grip. I mean, it performs very nicely, but it pulls my skin off of the canvas, and that's not very good. Okay, and now I'm taking this piece of paper and I will protect my transfer tape so I could use it for my next project. So this sheet I can use as long as it is sticky. And now this guy, I saw that some of the paint, the skin was spilling off of the canvas, but now I can use my roller that is Cricut. It has a little bit of the cushioning. I think it's like a rubbery rotation rotary tool, and I could make sure that the adhesion is perfect. Okay, final result. I think it looks freaking awesome. This is exactly what I had in mind. Again, this is not ideal pour. This was, I poured the paint in the middle of the night yesterday when I woke up. I mean, I didn't fall asleep. But it has beautiful colors. I'll do the close-up maybe with the front camera, but it has metallics, iridescence, transitions from the colors bleeding into each other. It has nice cell activating, creating lacing. Vinyl design is gorgeous. Everything is handmade, one of a kind, and I will try to cut out using cardstock, like a little frame, and see how it looks framed, but I love it. So for this test, I was able to find in a stack of my art supplies in my closets this little frame. It actually was the inside of the bigger mat that I was cutting for bigger artwork. I have this foam backing board, which I'm not too crazy about because every time I put them in frame, they get wrinkled, they warp. It is a foam covered with paper, so they're not waterproof. I got a bunch of them and I don't like them. So I will use them for the sample, for the test purposes. And I just have to figure out nice layout so the frame covers all of the page, areas of the page where the paint didn't cover. I usually use archival tape, which is much more expensive, better quality. It doesn't yellow, it doesn't damage the artwork. But for this purpose, I could definitely use this regular masking tape. And this is just a sample. It's not how I would do my artwork. I will have to probably adhere it nicely to the back so it doesn't buckle up. But what I will do here is I will attach the tape only to the canvas. Then I would kind of lift it off and then stretch it with my hands to make sure that I don't get any. So it kind of like stretches the canvas nicely. And I can get rid of these corners. And now I have to attach the tape, the mat, and position it so it looks good composition wise. I think like this is good. Now I can turn it upside down and secure it with the tape where I can. It's not gonna be centered, but this is the only way to make sure that the composition from the other side, that is most important, is right. Again, this is just a sample, something that I did by accident. Not by accident, I was growing this idea for quite some time, but this is the result. I could hang it in my apartment anywhere, like on any wall, and I will be proud and I will love looking at that and remembering how much fun it was creating this piece. So I like it a lot and I hope you do too.